Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and welcome to another wonderful game of StarCraft 2. This one's being played between IM.MVP, he is the blue Terran, up here on the top side spawn of Shattered Temple, and his opponent today is going to be the red Protoss on the bottom spawn. It is oGs.MC, so MC versus MVP. This is a best-of-3 series being played for the MLG Providence Championship bracket at their championship event, so there's a ton of money out there for these players. I believe first place of this tournament received $50,000. So these guys are playing for quite a lot of money. That's more than actually the GSL Code S championship pays out these days. So a lot of money out there for the taking for these guys, and they are well on their way to do it. Of course, only one player can continue to advance. That is a double elimination bracket. Both of these guys have no series losses up to this point in the tournament. Let's talk about QIM for a second. So QIM was a sort of merger or partnership between Quantic Gaming, which is primarily a North American team. They do have Sase from Sweden, but Quantic Gaming is the Q there. The IM, of course, stands for Incredible Miracle, which is a extremely good South Korean StarCraft 2 team that MVP is a part of. So Quantic and IM merged briefly and formed QIM. MVP was playing for both of them technically at MLG Providence, but recently QIM actually split up. So Quantic Gaming is now its own team once again, and IM is back to being on its own. But at the time of Providence, they were in this partnership QIM. So that's why MVP's name looks a little bit weird. Back over at MC's base, let's talk about oGs.SK. Why not? oGs is another very good Korean StarCraft 2 team. SK is another organization that has a bunch of teams for other esports, but they, instead of trying to field an entire team for StarCraft 2, they decided to go for this sort of joint partnership deal with oGs.MC and oGs.NADA. So whenever MC and NADA participate in events outside of South Korea, they play under the tag oGs.SK. While they're in Korea, they are just oGs. So that's why both of these players' names just look like a crazy collection of letters. oGs.SK.MC. If you're seeing this for the first time, you would have no idea what all that means. And QIM.MVP, also very bizarre name, just seemingly random letters, but now you know if you didn't already. Probe from MC, not going to see anything too crazy in there. MVP actually was about to build a second barracks, but decided to go for the depot and reactor instead while that probe was still inside his base. He didn't want to give away any extra information. They didn't have to. MVP, on the other hand, is going to get a look around MC's base and see the cybernetics core finishing at a very standard time. A couple of pylons up, one gas. Not enough information just yet, so he's going to need to loiter around here with this SCV a little while longer to see how many more gateways come up, or if he tries to go for a nexus pretty soon here. If he does throw up a second assimilator, I think it would be probably the worst of those ideas, since it's a little late to get started on super fast Stargate or something like that. So MC should be throwing up probably 1, 2, or 3 more gateways. No additional tech just yet, and a nexus following whatever number of gateways he decides to do. MVP is going to get out of there with his SCV safely and finish up his wall back at home. He's got a few Marines in case another scouting probe does show up. Getting a tech lab up on the second barracks now, still working off of just one gas, which is kind of interesting, but he can currently pump out 2 Marines and a Marauder at a time. He's well ahead of the supply block cap there, so he can just start churning out units as long as he keeps up with his supply depots. And it looks like MC is going to drop a nexus after only 1 gateway. So 1 gate fast expand, decently fast expand, 5-minute mark is pretty quick. Second gateway will go up now, and the third gateway. Now the question is, will he go for something like a Twilight Council next, or will he go for that full-on 6 gate, which can be very hard to stop when your Protoss player is on 2 bases like this. So he is throwing up a second gas now. We'll see if MC is going to go for additional tech, maybe a robotics facility, maybe a Twilight Council, probably not a Stargate, just because he would have needed that second gas a lot earlier, like I mentioned before. MC staying well ahead of his supply cap by dropping pylons as necessary. It looks like MVP is getting a little bit hasty here. He wants to try and take on this Stalker with 5 Marines, but MC was well prepared for it. He did have control of that Zelnaga tower, and he did manage to take out a Marine basically for free. He took only 3 damage there, and those shields are going to start recharging right away. So he's got 3 Stalkers and a Zealot up against a handful of Marines and a Marauder. Doesn't look like any upgrades are finished besides that concussive shell. Concussive shell is, of course, very handy in the early game. It can cause stalkers to be trapped, basically, and killed, so MC will need to be careful with these stalkers if they do engage. And it looks like MC is setting up for a defense at the perfect time. MVP's moving right in there, so we'll see how this micro battle goes between our two players. MVP, of course, going to do that stutter step micro, just shoot for a little bit, run away, shoot for a little bit, run away. He's going to continue to do that. MC with a high number of stalkers, actually focusing down the Marauders first. He doesn't quite manage to get the kill there. He does, so no more concussive shells are going to be a threat here. The stalkers are faster than the Marines, so that was a great decision by MC to take out those Marauders as quick as he can. Now he's picking up the easy targets because he knows that he didn't have enough stalkers to take out the Marauder in time. Now with some reinforcements, MC cleans up the rest of MVP's units, and it looks like MVP just had a couple of Marines rallied over here to the right side of the map. They're not going to be very effective or safe over there. If MC runs through this Xel'Naga tower, yes, he is going to get vision on both of those Marines and just run right over there with those Stalkers and pick up 2 easy free kills. MVP did turn on the Stalker with the lowest health there to try and score a kill, but Observer popping out now for MC. He did get a robotics facility up during all that, and now we see he is building a warp prism, so that's kind of cool. We'll see if he ends up doing any drop play. Back at MVP's base, his factory got a reactor tagged onto it, and the starport is going to swap places with it. Probably start to crank out some medevacs. Viking's not really a necessity just yet without any robotics bay from his opponent having been scouted. Looks like the Observer is finally making its way across the map here. He's going to learn MC's build in just a moment. There's no detection out here for MVP except for Scan, which is not available right this second. Doesn't look like MVP has any plans to expand just yet either. This is actually kind of bad considering he's on 27 Harvesters against 37 from MC. If he doesn't get a command center up here soon, he's just going to fall farther and farther behind in that supply and in the Harvester count. MC sitting pretty, actually, about 11 supply ahead with, 11 of that supply being actually Harvesters. MVP now looking a little bit desperate after those first couple of medevacs have come out. He's going to start marching toward the middle of the map again. The medevac's sitting there waiting already. There's a warp prism looping around the back here for MC. If he does start to do a drop or something like that, we'll go ahead and throw that in the picture-in-picture, but we will keep emphasis here on MVP's main army. We have to see if he's going to be successful with this drop. It looks like he's going to do some elevator play, basically load up both of these medevacs, spit them out on the high ground, and try to take out this pylon before MC can react. But MC does see it very quickly. Fortunately for MC, an Immortal pops out just at the moment that he can come try to rescue this, and with those hardened shields, the Marauders are not going to be able to kill off the Immortal. All the rest of the forces of MC show up now to chase off these Marines and Marauders. As long as MC has a little bit of vision, he can kind of keep up with those Marines and Marauders. The Warp Prism has landed over here, so we can see if this Zealot is going to have any efficiency in the mineral line of MVP. MC has walked around to the front of his base to try and take care of the scouting factory. MVP loading up once again to try and finish off this pylon and maybe even a tech structure or two, but MC is well prepared for this. 2 Immortals, out on the field now. Lots of Force Fields and Guardian Shield available, even getting a couple of free hits on that Warp Prism as it tries to escape. These 3 Zealots did manage to kill actually quite a few SCVs. Let's look at the Harvester count now, only 22 for MVP, as he is just now building his natural expansion there, his command center. MVP looking in pretty bad shape right now. 92 supply for MC, only 65 for MVP. That factory is going to take another few shots. Destroying it is going to help a little bit as it is providing vision, but not so much that it will actually change the game very much. MC well ahead of those medevacs, warping in a couple of stalkers before the medevacs can get into position. Now we see MC just rolling now. He's got way more forces here. SCVs have been pulled for MVP. That's 16 SCVs along for the ride. He's trying to get them to the front lines to keep these Zealots from reaching the Marines and the Marauders, but it looks like MC's just going to get comfortable. He's got more than enough Stalkers and Immortals. He's had 3 Immortals doing just tons of damage this entire game, racking up double-digit kills, and now MC is just going to walk through this army. MVP knows that it's a lost cause at this point. He's too far behind in economy. That drop did a lot of damage, and of course pulling all your SCVs and losing them at the front line of your enemy's base is not a situation you can come back from. So, Game 1 will go to oGs.MC, one of my favorite players. MVP is another of my favorite players, so let's go to Game 2 now and see which one of my 2 favorite players will win that game.